Happy Devil's Sunday and happy Father's Day to all you fathers out there. This is the Let's Go Devils podcast, season 6, episode 32, coming to you live from the bunker in an undisclosed location in New Jersey, on the mountaintop with the mountain view and Scotty's palatial one-bedroom apartment who Michael J. Fox once stayed at years ago before he became famous, streaming live on Facebook Live, YouTube Live, Twitter Live, and Twitch on the Let's Go Devils Network. Tonight's title is Waiting on Timo's Contract. Also, we have a special guest tonight, good friend of the podcast, former New Jersey Devil and now Stanley Cup champion, Sean Burke.
Woo!
Yeah.
That's an awesome get, Sam. Well done. This is gonna be a fun conversation. This is personally, I've never spoken to a person who has just won the Stanley Cup within the week that I've spoken to them. So it's pretty cool.
If you remember, Sean, during our 9.5 months without any Devils hockey, around that April or May of 2020, Sean Burke obliged and came on to this podcast to teach us guitar, how to play the guitar.
Yeah.
For about an hour and a half, 2 hours. And we haven't had him on since then. But, you know, we talk offline. We also, the podcast sent his son, who was 5 then, now he's 8 years old, a Sean Burke jersey. With the,
That's right.
Yeah, with you know, with the old Devils green and red, and it was from that era. Somehow we found one on eBay, and we sent it to him. We also sent all our T-shirts as well, amongst other things.
You know, I'm gonna say that Sean Burke has done pretty well for himself since he was last on our podcast.
I wonder if he's going to credit us. Just kidding. I mean, the Montreal Canadiens.
Inspirational.
The Montreal Canadiens did make it to the Stanley Cup Finals once they got to the bubble, right?
Mm-hmm.
We got through that, so, you know. And Sean was, I think, a special advisor of some sort with the Canadiens.
You're saying like he's like the Pat Maroon of coaches, basically?
Yeah.
You know, like if so, yeah, okay.
I'll let you tell him that. Yeah.
Okay.
Bring him to the Devils. Bring him back to the Devils, baby.
What if he hates Pat Maroon, though, and he finds that to be insulting?
You know what I will say? Out of the 4, I was the one that was picking the Vegas Golden Knights to win the Stanley Cup in our predictions contest. And
that is true.
Yeah. I'll let him know about that, you know, you guys didn't believe in him. No, I'm just kidding.
That's a... Yeah. Well, while we're waiting on the our special guest to join us, let's talk a little bit about the events that have unfolded over the last week, where we had a good signing and a possible sighting. So that means that Jesper Bratt signed to an 8-year extension with a contract worth $63 million. I kind of love when guys do that. You know, Sidney Crosby did that with the $87 million or $8.7 million a year. I forget how it worked out, but either way. And then Timo Meier, right shortly after, goes into arbitration. You know, some people freaked out about it, but it's not a bad thing. Arbitration is actually a good thing. It gives him more time to negotiate. And by all accounts, it seems like he and Fitzgerald, his team and Fitzgerald are all on the same page. Boys, if Fitzy can get these guys, he's already got 3, you know, studs locked up for, you know, I think under 24, 25 million, you know, cap space. If he can lock up Timo for like 8, even if you have to go to like 8.5 and keep it around that area, whew. Like Scotty said last week, get this man the GM award of the year already, because he's going to be fast tracking towards it.
Yeah, I mean, so far with what we've seen and what we've heard, you know, it's great news with Jesper Bratt. We know he had a kind of a down playoff run there, but that's okay. There will be other playoff runs for him to make amends on. But to see his growth and his maturity with this team, coming from, I always forget, what was he as? Was he a fourth or was he a sixth round draft pick? I can never. Sixth, right?
Sixth
I
round.
don't know why I always get that confused. But as a diamond in the rough, who actually is really starting to play out in that positive way, and he's another one of these Devils that we talk about each year is a career year for them. Can we get Jesper up to that 80-point plateau as well? I think he can do it, and now maybe he'll be a little bit more relaxed, not have to worry about, free agency, restricted free agency, end of the year, negotiating contracts, blah, 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 blah. We can say whatever, but if you're in his skates, I'm sure it's something that's on your mind, especially when you're going out there. And a lot of that performance when your contract is up is going to either come back to help you or bite you, and obviously Jesper struggled in the playoffs. I was under the impression that he might have been injured and it was going to be one of those cleaning out their lockers and, oh, by the way, I'm going for surgery in a week because I've been playing with like a busted wrist or something like that,
Yeah.
A broken foot.
But it wasn't him. That was, Dougie Hamilton. Instead, Jesper got himself a nice deal here. He got himself a real nice deal. I think it works with where everyone kind of expected this deal to be. It didn't completely break the bank, and it leaves room for the Devils to go ahead and pursue Timo Meier, and then to, like we talked about, have some of this young talent come up. We've seen the rumors of Mackenzie Blackwood being shopped. We've seen the rumors of Yegor Sharangovich being shopped. I've seen the rumors of Miles Wood, possibly just letting him walk. Ryan Graves might be the same thing. Those aren't really huge shockers with the young talent that the Devils have that we have been waiting on for them to mature. So it's all happening right now. And to lock up Jesper Bratt, that's just another one of those core pieces that is now solidified on this team for the next number of years. And his brother as well. Don't forget about that.
I always forget about that.
Yeah, Devils have a good outlook with the old family ties and everything like that, which may come in, handy down the line when maybe some other brothers around the league have contracts that are up and expiring and everything like that. We'll see. You never know. You never know. But I think hell of a job so far by Fitzy. And we all know dealing with Claude Lemieux isn't the easiest. So
on and off the ice.
Good luck, Tommy boy. Yeah, have a good one there. He's gonna have to give him the what was it? You can take a look up a horse's ass if you want to see the steak, or the cow's ass if you want to see the
No. It's got to be your butcher. It's got to be your butcher.
Yeah.
No, wait, no.
I can't remember the
You can get a good look at a T-bone steak if you stick your head up a cow's ass, but wouldn't you rather take the butcher's word for it? That's what the actual phrase is. I've seen it a million times. There's change missing off your dresser and your daughter's knocked up. Anyways,
that's Fitzgerald. That's Fitzgerald to
oh my gosh.
I mean to Claude Lemieux right now.
Yeah.
I do like the it came out that Jesper shot a text message to Nico before everything broke to let him know he was re-signed and coming back. I like that. That just shows that he and I think he even said he wanted the captain to know first. I think that's pretty good on his part, instead of letting Nico find out through the media or maybe social media or the team email, like, hey, welcome back our longtime employee Jesper Bratt. Like, he's actually, he got in touch with Nico, which is cool. But that also shows the type of respect that Nico commands amongst his teammates too. So that's a positive on Nico too. And overall, it was just great news. It was a great signing, and really happy to have that tied up. And now we get Timo figured out. We get the other loose ends tied up. Maybe make a trade or two before going into the draft. Maybe we'll get ourselves another pick, maybe another 2 picks, and we'll be good to go.
Yeah.
I think with Jesper, reaching out to Nico, we're talking about, real like blood brothers, but there's also, it seems like a bond with all these guys who've grown up together here on this team.
Yes.
through those, few years of being, dreadful and figuring out on the fly how to play at the NHL level. And now they're doing it, at elite scoring rates. So
There's accountability.
Accountability, but I think it shows the bond that this team has, by coming up together like that. Sometimes you can't, no free agent acquisition can replace that sort of bond. You know what I mean?
No.
Oh, here's this big, sexy name coming in here, but really these guys playing for each other is going to go a long way.
Who does that example sound like you just gave, Scotty? The Rangers. That's who it sounds like. And it didn't work.
Yeah, well, let's not acquire anyone with a missing hip, okay? Let's not do that.
Oh, what is it? All just shattered bone in there? Sure, come on the ice. See how it goes. What are you skating on a pile of mashed potatoes in that hip? All right, good for you. Let's do it. Hi, Sam.
Yes. Hi, Sam.
I'm back. I just had a heart attack in the last 5 minutes. Internet going down, but we're back. We're back.
Too many wings.
Yeah, I actually had a salad.
That's what Sam says. The salad.
Yes,
the salad.
Salad.
Yeah.
Salad. French fry salad.
Salad
today.
is code for deep fried.
On the bone somehow.
It's also
Sam salad came on the bone.
It's also code that our next guest is on. He's a good friend.
Cool.
Yeah, he's a great friend of the podcast. Former New Jersey Devil. When we were doing this podcast with 9.5 months without any Devils hockey, he was kind enough to come on last time and teach us how to play the guitar. But now, since then, he's become a Stanley Cup champion. Pleased to welcome to the Let's Go Devils podcast, Sean Burke. Sean, you're on with Sam, Scotty, Scott, and Jonathan. How are you tonight?
I'm great, guys. Thanks for having me on. How's everybody there doing?
Doing great. Congratulations.
Probably not as good as you, though.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate it. Thank you. Yeah, I know it's been a nice couple days. We got the parade done last night, which was amazing. What a turnout in downtown Las Vegas. And it's nice now, normal life. We're getting back to normal life now.
So
normal
is that a quick turnaround?
Is that such a thing?
Yeah, I didn't think there was normal life in Vegas.
Surprisingly, that's one of the real, for me anyway, mysteries about this place was coming here. I had no idea what it was going to be like to live here. And, the guys all live out in Summerlin. We're about 15, 20 minutes from downtown. And it's another world. It's another world out here. It's a really beautiful spot. Our practice facilities out here. There's shops, restaurants. You don't really even need to go down to the Strip unless you have people in town or you want to go down. So it was different than I thought. I've got to be honest.
Yeah, and it was really nice to see the turnout of the crowd out there and everybody's enthusiasm. But I got to tell you, Carlson's speech there at the parade was quite a speech. What was the reaction to the rest of the guys when he got on the mic there?
Well, we tried to pretend he was speaking Swedish there, and nobody understood. Some of those words sounded English, but they're not swear words in Swedish. That's so
I don't know who did it, but
Go ahead.
Okay, I'm sorry.
No, I was just going to say it's really funny too because he's a really quiet guy and. A really quiet leader. He's been a great player here. He's been one of the original guys came in here and has been unbelievable for this organization. So it was a lot of fun really to see him kind of get out of his shell because that's so unlike his personality most of the time. But it was wonderful because obviously he was so excited and proud of winning as he should be.
Yeah, and it's funny because in his speech he said, since day one, I'll clean that part up, but he said since day one. And I think that's really special for those core guys that were there. And that's kind of like where the Devils are sitting right now. And we were just talking about this before you came on with Jesper Bratt reaching out to Nico Hischier. and letting him know that he was extended. It's that core group with Nico and Brat and Jack and all these young guys that are going to be able to grow and hopefully experience what you guys just experienced. And having their voice in the locker room must have been, paramount throughout the experience of the playoffs. Like they must have really carried the room, and you could see the respect that everybody else, gave them as well.
Yeah, I think really at the end of the day, this was a team that really had, I think, a lot of elements that make up a winning team. And I mean, first and foremost, you have to give the management credit for that. They did a great job. I know the organization has taken some criticism the last few years for some of the things that have happened, some of the players that have left. But in reality, it was a great combination of veteran guys, the Petrangelos, even Phil Kessel, Jonathan Quick, guys that just around the team that have won Stanley Cups, and Martinez, and I think we had 6 or 7 guys, and then we had our young guys, and then we had the original 6 or 7 guys from day one. So a great combination, and I do give a lot of credit to management for putting the team together the way they did.
Sean, it's Jonathan. We saw the Devils last season go through about 7 or 8 goalies, and it was a disaster. You went through 5 goalies this season with Vegas, and you won a Stanley Cup. What was your messaging? What did you do to keep these guys all on the same page, and then, man, turn Adin Hill into this juggernaut come playoff time?
Yeah, it was an interesting year to say the least. That's not the script. You never go into the season expecting to play that many goalies. I remember you guys going through it. It happens. There's been a few teams in the league who've used 5-6 goalies in a season. It's more common now, and I'm not really sure why. Obviously, there's more injuries. I don't know if it has anything to do with the travel, the schedule, all those things. But yeah, there wasn't really any messaging. I think for me, at the end of the day, we knew we had depth in the organization, and each goalie is unique. Everybody's their own personality, but what I try to do is help get the most out of each guy individually and get them to a point where they're confident in their game, they believe in themselves. We had a good hockey team. I mean, that really helps. Being honest about it, you probably don't get 5 guys playing well if you don't have a good team in front of them. That's not going to happen. So that definitely helped, but you got to get buy-in, and I got to give every one of those guys credit this year. They bought in, they gave us what they had, and everybody contributed to us winning in the end.
Very cool. Sean, this is Scotty here, and we saw Hill, put on an incredible run there in goal for this playoffs. And for us Devils fans, many, many years ago, we saw you do the same as a young goaltender coming up and then getting into the playoff run. We have a young kid named Akira Schmid, who also, came in as a rookie, filling in as injuries piled up, and really took off. And then he himself became a big part of this team in the Devils 2 rounds this year. I was just wondering, what you, as a young goaltender, what were some of the lessons that you learned back then that stuck with you? Things that maybe us Devils fans could be, looking for in Akira Schmid in this next upcoming season.
Well, the first thing I learned was probably a really good lesson in humility, to be honest, was the fact that, you can come up and have a great run and go through the playoffs right to the semifinals, Game 7. We went, as you guys know, before being eliminated by Boston. And you start to think as a young player, it's going to be like that every year. And it wasn't. And it's humbling. It's a humbling league. It's the best league in the world for a reason, and everybody's trying to win. So you never take anything for granted is what you learn. On the other hand, those experiences should build and make you believe more in yourself and make you realize that if you put the work in, you put the effort in, and you do the things you need to do, you can have success in the league. But it's not a given. It's not going to be handed to you. And that was something I learned as a young goalie that I think I learned the hard way. But in saying that, I needed to learn that, and it helped me as I moved forward in my career. And I think it had a lot to do with my longevity, was that I never did take anything for granted, after my first year, and realized that if I was going to be a professional in this league for a long time, I had to find consistency. And that really is the key for every player, is finding that consistency.
So speaking of your this is Scott, by the way, again, but so speaking of your experience on the Devils, we did have a question from one of our listeners, Stephen Tardis. I think I probably butchered his last name, so I apologize about that. But he says, what is your favorite Devils memory when you were at the Devils?
Yeah, I had a lot of them. That's a good question, Stephen. And I won't try to pronounce your last name because we both don't. I had a lot. I really think, though, that my fondest memory is probably the game in Chicago where we clinched the playoff spot, and the excitement, not just from our players, but from Max McNabb, who was the general manager when I was drafted. He was, Lou came in and took over, but Max was still around our team as a consultant, I believe. But just the excitement on those faces for people who had been in that organization and hadn't made the playoffs. And as a young player, I maybe, overlooked some of those things, but I never overlooked that part of the just the excitement of our team winning that game and getting into the playoffs for the first time, and the elation on everybody in the organization.
Yeah, that's so cool. That's so cool. It probably feels like it was yesterday, right?
It really does. And I still see Darren Pang around, who was the goalie that night in the opposite net. Mm-hmm. And all I can think about is how did he play at that size? Like, man, I have more respect for him now than I ever did. I can't believe he's got smaller, so he must have been that size when he was playing. And I often find myself joking with Panger about it. But yeah, that was John McLean, of course, who. And Kirk Muller and Pat Verbeek and Brendan Shanahan and all the guys who were part of that are still guys I see regularly. I talk to Kirk Muller quite often, and John McLean. So those are the memories. You remember the people that you win with, and you have great success with, and guys that share the same experiences with you.
That's awesome. Sean, I have a really simple question. How did it feel to lift the cup over your head?
Well, it's funny because, the obvious answer is it felt incredible. But if you look, some people have sent me some pictures and they're like, man, did you have a huge smile on your face? And that wasn't a smile. That was me sort of screaming because I have a really bad shoulder and I couldn't get the cup all the way up. So as much as it felt great to have it in my hands, I literally could not get it over my head without screaming in pain. So those pictures till forever will look like I was screaming in joy, but I was really just screaming in pain trying to get it up over my head.
Well, you made it. I'll tell you what. Sammy sent us that picture earlier. You made it look really good. So good on you for making it look really good. You should try to get that picture framed for the house.
Yeah, and I got to say the 5 or 6 minutes left in that game, I sit up top in the press box with one of our other coaches, and so we started to make our way down, because the game, which you never can predict that, but really there wasn't a lot of drama in the last period. I mean, we had such a big lead that's such a rarity, I think, in a final game like that. But anyway, we were able to start to make our way down to join the coaches for the celebration. And I just couldn't keep saying to myself on the way down, we're going to win the Stanley Cup. Like, we are going to win the Stanley Cup. It was something that, to say it and actually know it was going to happen was almost surreal, because you play and work in this league for so many years, and that's obviously the goal of every team. But at that point, I realized this is actually going to happen here. Like, this is really going to happen. So it was it was a great feeling coming down to join the rest of the team for that.
Very cool. Sean, it's Scotty again. Happy Father's Day, by the way.
Thank you very much, and same to you guys. Anybody who's a father there, I don't know how many of you guys have kids, but I'm sure a few of you do.
Oh, just me. Just
yeah,
just the one.
Well, happy Father's Day to your fathers then.
Oh,
thank you. Very much appreciated. Man, what was that victory party like, though? I mean, we saw the craziness, but that night, the actual like cup winning night, because the crowds in Vegas just looked insane. That arena was packed, people were pumped, but outside the arena was full as well. You see all those pool parties happening and everything like that. What was the night like there in Vegas on the actual like cup winning?
Well, ironically, it's so funny as a coach or a player when you're going through those experiences, because you really have to sort of keep yourself in that bubble, and that is one of the biggest, I think, distractions of being in the finals and playing for the Stanley Cup, is there are so many other things going on, and it's hard not to notice them or to see them on the news and all that, but really you really have to separate from that and just keep together as a team in a bubble and avoid a lot of the other stuff. So, it's a crazy place, Las Vegas. It's a wonderful, city, as everybody knows. There's so much going on, but for the players and for the staff and everybody else, you don't really partake in any of those things. You have to almost block it out and just focus on your job. And I thought that was one of the really, really impressive things about our club, was that all the series that we played, the other teams, they were all good teams, obviously, and were very, very capable of winning the series. Our team just seemed to have a focus that we were going to win. It wasn't about being close. It wasn't about enjoying just the process and having fun with it. It wasn't going to be enough unless we won. So I think that was the beauty of having a veteran team and guys who'd been there, is that there was a real focus and a desire to win that cup.
Is that a nice way of saying what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas?
Well, I know I kind of skirted that answer a little bit, because it's really a boring answer at the end of the day, because I had a lot of family there, as a lot of guys did, and when they came on the ice and everybody got a chance to be around the cup and celebrate, it sort of fizzled out after that for a lot of people, because we wanted to get home, we wanted to relax and enjoy it as a family. So I think a lot of the guys did that, but of course the players, and especially with everything going on, I'm sure they had a heck of a lot more of an exciting time than I did. But I wouldn't trade it for anything, because I got to enjoy it with the people that mean the most to me, and that was the players at first, the staff, and then of course my family, and just go home and really enjoy it with them.
Awesome.
Now, Sean, this is, you were just talking about the focus of the team and having that veteran presence in the locker room of, they didn't have the, hey, let's have fun. It was like, no, we're here for a purpose and we're here to win. But at what point throughout the run, whether it be getting through the first round, second round, at what point did you personally feel like, wow, this could actually go all the way? Or was it only until the last game, when you guys were winning by that much, like you were walking down, like you were saying before, that it finally sunk in, like, okay, now this feels real? But was there any point during the playoffs that you were like, we're going to do this? Like, you had that confidence where, like, this team is going to win?
Yeah, there was. And I'm going to tell you guys this, and it's probably going to come across almost like, that it couldn't be possible. But when I came here and joined Vegas last summer, I talked to a number of people, of course, my family, my wife, we discussed coming here. And I said to her, we're going to win the Stanley Cup there. That is the place we're going to go and win the cup. And I really believed it. And the reason I believed it was I looked through our lineup. I knew that the team obviously had missed the playoffs a year before, but there was a lot of guys that had been to the finals, even in the first year. And I just saw a package that looked to me like a team that is gonna have a chance to win. And I didn't know, obviously, the goaltending, how that would play out. The injuries, all the other things. Mark Stone getting injured, coming back. There's a lot of factors. But to answer your question, as the playoffs moved along, the Winnipeg series, we didn't play well in game one. They beat us, and then we kind of cruised through that series because I thought we were just a better team, and they played hard. The Edmonton series was the one that I think we were really worried about. That at the end of the day, with those two players, there's so much offense there. A lot of things could happen. So when we got through that series, Dallas and then into the final, I just thought we were a better team. Not that we would necessarily guarantee us winning, but I felt if we played our game and those teams played their game, we would come out on top because we just had a better club through the lineup. So, really, there wasn't one particular moment, but I did feel, especially once we got into that Dallas series, that if we played our game, we had a real chance to win the cup.
It's awesome. That's so cool when that finally sinks in. Yeah.
Yeah, it's Sean, it's Jonathan again. You definitely had your work cut out for you with the 5 goalies, and I know you weren't expecting that, but I am curious, are you starting to plan out your day with the cup?
A little bit. It's funny because I've kind of got a couple places that are sort of where, I have a long history in Toronto where I grew up, and a lot of friends and people who contributed to my hockey career when I was growing up. Minor hockey and people that were coaches for me and family, and I have a boys club there that I worked as when I was when I was a teenager. That's a big part of my upbringing. That they gave me a job and an ability, a chance to have a good summer job. So that Toronto's definitely one place. Arizona, I lived there for 20 years and have a lot of family and friends and people there as well. So it's going to be hard. I wish I got 2 days with it, and I know that's never going to happen, but I'm going to have to. I think that especially as you get older now, for me personally, being in the game as long as I am, I'm more reflective. It's going to be my day with the cup, but it's really not. It's going to be the day that everybody that's ever been part of my journey and my hockey career and all those things, I want them to enjoy it. So that's going to be the tough part, is figuring out how to do that where the most people can be a part of it. And that's what I'm looking for, because you really share these experiences with so many people. You don't do it by yourself. You don't get here and get this far on your own. And so I want that, my day, I want to reflect that as much as I can.
Sean, that's the beautiful thing about hockey and hockey players like yourself. That's the type of answer that you generally get. So I love that answer, and good luck making those decisions. And remember, you have 24 hours to use, so use as many as possible.
Well, I'll use all 24. They're going to be dragging it out of my arms at 23 hours and 59 minutes. I can tell you that.
As they should.
You should tell them a day for each goalie that you had to coach, throughout.
Seriously, that's a great idea.
5 days.
That's a great idea.
Great idea. That is. You know what? I think I'll try that one. I'm not sure it's going to go over very well. But the other thing I could do is I could always just start running with it and see if they can find me. That's the other thing.
Take it on a whirlwind adventure.
Oh man, Sean, any new songs on guitar that you've learned recently?
Yeah, you know what? I've actually been hammering away at it pretty good. I've been I haven't maybe learned too many new songs. I think I've got better at a few of the ones that I've been trying to play for years. I've been lucky here. I found some people in Vegas, which you can imagine there's a lot of musicians here, a lot of guys that like to play. So I found some guys I mess around with once in a while, and there's a couple little bars in town that I can get up and play a few songs every now and then. So I'm going to go to Nashville for the draft. I think this year I played in Tootsie's, I played in Legends, I got up and played in those places. So I've got a good list of places where people have ran out the front door when I got up on stage and kind of got out of the place. So I'm going to try to add a few to that down the road here.
I know there's a lot of those bars in Vegas where you can go ahead and jam and stuff like that. And you never know who might pop up on stage with you. I know Vinnie Paul, before he passed the Pantera, used to be out there all the time. And people just didn't realize, it's like, whoa, that's Vinny behind the drum kit over there. So it's amazing.
There's a place called the Barber Shop here, it's right in the Cosmopolitan, and you actually walk through a little barber shop into the back, and it's a speakeasy, and they've always got, top end musicians up there playing, and it's a great little vibe in there. So I've been invited to come and play there a couple times, and I haven't had the chance yet, but I'll try that at some point. And it's a great city. It's known for what everybody obviously knows it for, the gambling and the nightlife and all those things. But there's a lot of other things here, good family things to do. The schools have been great. It really is it is an interesting place, and at the end of the day, the people love the team here. It's got a huge following here, and people just love this hockey team.
I've definitely seen it. I got a couple friends that live out there in Summerlin, like you were talking about, and they love the Knights. They love going to games. They're just totally all in on it, and it's just good to see. It made for great coverage on TV.
Awesome.
Well, Sean, once again, congratulations on winning the Stanley Cup with the Golden Knights. And before you go, the next time you're in New Jersey when the Knights play the Devils, we've grown quite a bit since you last came on back in April or May of 2020. We actually do a pregame and a postgame at a bar across the street from Prudential Center. You're more than welcome to come over. We'll feed you.
They built us a stage.
Yeah, they actually built
seriously.
us a stage in the middle of the street.
Nice.
To do the podcast, and bring your guitar.
Yeah.
You could have the
rad.
stage.
Well, you know what, guys, I may take you up on that, and just so I'm not surprised. You guys do a great job. I enjoy. I've listened to some other of your shows, and you always get great guests on, interesting guests, and the questions are thought out. So good luck to you as you move forward. If you need anything, don't hesitate, and I definitely will. I'm not sure I'll bring the guitar and jump up on stage, but I'll definitely. If you have one there and you got anybody that can sing, then maybe. But I'm definitely not going to jump up, get on the guitar, and try singing. That's for sure.
Oh no, we know our friend Arlette sings. I don't know if you know.
Get
her.
Arlette,
Perfect.
exactly.
Perfect.
Also, Jonathan here can really carry a tune. We have video.
Yeah.
We have
No.
video.
Yeah,
No,
he can carry.
I cannot.
He could carry it in a bucket right out the door. That's where he can carry it.
That's not what I did. I ruined Arlette's song, but that's okay. I tried.
Well, thank you, Sean, and happy Father's Day, and we'll talk to you soon.
Okay, guys. Anytime. Same to you. Have a good Father's Day.
Thank you, Sean.
Congrats again,
You too,
Sean.
bud.
Congrats, Sean.
Thanks, guys. Thank you.
That is Sean Burke, Vegas Golden Knight, but really one of ours. Good friend of the podcast, coming on.
Stanley Cup champ.
Stanley Cup champ. Yep.
Stanley Cup champ. And he's still talking to us, too.
I know. That's less than a week after actually winning it. Less than a week after winning it.
Yeah.
The one
great.
question I wanted to ask and I forgot to ask is, like, how cool is it going to be the next time you see the cup to see your name permanently engraved into it?
Yeah.
That's got to
Good
be
one.
such
Yeah.
a crazy, like, wild feeling just to be like,
You know what?
there it is. Like, that's it.
Let's ask him that when he shows up at American Whiskey.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Will do.
Yeah, you know what? We'll open up the big stage, even if it's like -5 degrees out. It doesn't matter. We'll have heaters.
Hey,
He
this
strums
could also-
one string and it just pops from being frozen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, this might mean that we have to go out to Vegas and bring the podcast on the road.
Oh.
Ayo. I'm down for that. That's right.
Right,
That's
so
not
am I.
too far from me.
We'll just
Yeah,
hop in that
that's
private
like
jet
a
of
hop,
ours.
skip, and a jump for Scotty. But yeah, that would
Sort
definitely,
of.
That'd be,
Or
that'd be fun.
let's go
You know
to
what?
Mullet Arena with Vegas and the Coyotes.
I'm already
Yeah.
there. I'm already there.
I'm sure they would let us do a podcast right on the concourse in that place.
Hey, we did one outside in the parking
Come
deck,
on
so
up.
we can do anything out there.
Yeah, you guys want to come inside? There's arenas. I'm like your arena. Dude, that's so cool.
Let's Go Devils podcast road trip next year to Vegas.
Yes,
we'll have a big meetup.
Maybe we'll do a fan poll, because there's a couple places I would love to go. Like we should go
that's
to
an easy
Toronto.
One. Yeah,
Toronto
Vegas though, you could get a lot of good deals. There's always like flight deals and hotel deals and stuff like that. I don't know about Toronto.
Tickets are going to be hard to come by, though. Tickets for Vegas now are going to be so hard to come by. They're going to sell that in years to come.
My cousin actually works over there.
Got an in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh. There you go.
And one of my good friends does all the promotion, and that's one of the arenas that he works for. So
plus we know Sean.
I got it in.
Plus we know Sean.
I got it in. That's true. We
plus,
know Sean.
We know Sean.
We know Sean.
Yeah, we know Sean.
We're his band. We'll just show up in a bunch of instruments. We're just like, where's his band?
We have more of an in with the Golden Knights than we do with the Devils, but whatever.
That's true. Oh my gosh!
It is what it is.
Hey, it was.
Yeah, dude.
I think. I was just gonna say that I was just gonna wrap that up, but that was just cool to talk to Sean again after winning a cup like that.
Yeah.
It's just so rad.
That is really cool. Nice dude, like really easy to talk to. Very cool.
Yeah.
Super laid back. Happy for him that he got that cup.
Yeah, 100%. And I was rewatching like a lot of the Stanley Cup celebration and everything else, and I just you can't help but wonder if when the Devils win. I'll say when. I'm not going to say if, because if is a loser term. You say when. So when the Devils win the cup, what's it going to be like? Because I know like some people gave them crap, like nobody came out to the parade, but it was just kind of like weirdly set up because their barricades were so far apart, because it looked like they were on way opposite sides of the strip instead of letting anybody go down the middle of it.
Man, they were having parties every night, though. I mean, like you
every
saw
night,
outside the arena.
Every night they were 100%. So where would that happen? Would it be Hoboken going crazy, or like would it be something like that? Would it be like
it doesn't matter.
Jersey City?
I think it'd be American whiskey going crazy.
Let Frank figure it out. Let Frank put the party together, because Frank will get whatever needs to get done. He'll get roads closed. He'll get barricades up. He'll get people there. He'll get stages built. Just let Frank set up the parade, and it'll be set up in about 12
Frank
hours.
would do a hell of a job.
He would.
Expertly built and painted.
Yes.
Like, how did that happen?
Yeah, I would assume they would have a big parade, and they would just like lead right to Championship Plaza if they, when they win.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
Probably
start from like down Lafayette, or not
down Lafayette. What's the one that runs right in front?
That's Mulberry.
Broad Street. They go down Broad
Mulberry.
Street. They go
down Mulberry.
Broad Street, turn down Lafayette, and then go right in front of the arena. That would
be cool.
Sense.
I think they'd come all the way down Mulberry, like past the bank and everything else, and then
there's really not much on Mulberry. Oh, coming from that direction. Yeah, if you come from like the more of a downtown.
No, not the other side. Not the Marty statue side.
Yeah.
Steven says Route 21.
Right to Championship Plaza, because then you could just line everyone up on the streets right there.
Yes.
I know we've joked about this before. Like, we've had this conversation of like, what would they do if they had like a celebration? Wouldn't it be cool if they did something completely different? Like, did it down like the Jersey Shore? Like, did something on like the boardwalk?
Beach party.
That would be cool. Instead of like a huge beach party, instead of like doing like the normal parade or like going to Championship Plaza, and that's more than likely where they're going to end up. But it would be cool if they went a little off script. You don't have the big parking lot area like you used to have with the Meadowlands, like you don't, where it's a big open straight shot. So you have some real estate from Championship Plaza. You have that park across the street that extends out where they do like the rink during the wintertime. You have the parking lot to the right there. So you can, in theory, fill all that out. But it'd be cool if they did something different. Like if they were like, all right, let's go down in like Seaside or something like that.
I got an idea.
Stone Pony would be sick, dude.
I mean, that place, you would, be way too many people.
The summer stage.
Summer stage is bigger.
You do the summer stage and you take off that back gate, and then you just.
I would still say there'd be more people. I think that's like 2,000 people. I would hope there's more than 2,000 people.
I got an idea. Why don't they rent out MSG and have their party at MSG? That would be
in
a
the Canyon
real
of Heroes.
Yeah,
Do the
that'd
parade
be
in
a
the
real
Canyon of Heroes.
Dolan.
I think they'll be rolling down Mulberry. To tell you the truth, have those couple blocks there. Those like 2-3 blocks.
We got to take
Yeah.
advantage of the helipad. Have the Stanley Cup, on a helicopter and then land on the Prudential Center, something like that.
Well, we'll have to have them for like post championship interviews. They get off the stage over there. They come onto our stage over here. Hey, whoa, we got another stage for you to come up.
Frank will get those barricades and that chute put together off their stage, right on our stage, and then into the arena.
Sean Burke will play guitar for whatever song they want, little walk-up song. Yeah. I'll bring my drum kit. I'll play drums. Shorts guy will sing.
Yeah, I'll sing. I cannot promise my level of sobriety on that day. I might just sing.
You might just Carlson the whole thing. Or,
I might just Carlson the whole thing.
You just sit over here, Tiger. You're Grant Marshalling too much.
Yeah. He's got Grant Marshall on us. We got to get him out
I'll be standing next to Grant Marshall pounding beers. That's what I'll be doing.
Yeah, 100%. Doing funnels with
Seriously.
Grant Marshall.
Sam leaning over to us.
Drinking
Those two aren't allowed on the live mic.
It'll be Grant, myself, and
just
Max.
Give him a mic that's not plugged
beers. Grant, myself, and Max chugging beers. And
then Cam Jansen shows up.
And just starts punching everybody. This is a wild party. This has got out of control.
Wild Vegas.
Shorts guy singing.
No, let's not.
Do we have the clip?
Every now and then I get a little bit terrified, but then I see the look in your eyes. Every now and then I fall.
This is so bad.
I like. She totally acknowledged like how bad it sounded when she goes. It's on me now. She's not going.
Hey, at least I tried.
This was a bad idea. It's on me. I'll take it.
It was a bad idea, but I didn't see anyone else up there with her. Nope, just me.
Yeah, Sam's nowhere to be found.
Nope, Sam's nowhere to be found.
Oh, I'm actually filming. I'm taking the video.
Yeah. I look so lost at those. It's so sad. I look so lost. If no one wants to give me a high five, just start laughing. I don't blame him. Oh man.
Yeah, I actually have that video. Right.
I know you have that video.
Yeah, I have that video. On standby.
Easy access on that one, huh?
Yeah.
Don't have anything else, but you got that one.
A few people were mentioning Asbury Park would be a cool place, and I have to tell you, I have to give a little shout out real quick because I was just in Asbury Park last night for the Asbury Park Tattoo Convention, and hanging out with a couple of really cool people. I met an amazing tattoo artist named Danny Lepore, so I wanted to give Danny Lepore a huge shout out. He's a huge Devils fan. And then Brian and Sarah, who I hung out with like pretty much all night. Brian's a big fan of the podcast, so I wanted to give him a shout out. But
nice.
Yeah, dude. Hopefully next year we'll be talking about this because we'll be at the parade and absolutely Carlsoned out of our minds.
Live from the parade.
Live from the parade. No voice. Probably shirtless. Shirtless.
Oh boy.
Scotty,
you better start hitting the gym now.
Scotty will. I started going back, so good thing. I have a year to get in shape, so it'll be okay.
Get a year. Yep.
Although I was wearing a shirt today that said it's not a dad bod, it's a father figure. So maybe if I'm not in shape, I'll rock that.
Remember, round is also a shape.
It is a shape. Some people have 6 packs. I have a beer ball. Like I just have a rotundus.
Well, you have 6 packs too. They're just, in the fridge.
They're just in my fridge. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude, like seriously, we should I'm looking forward to this year. I hope this Timo contract gets kind of figured out sooner than later. Yeah. And that way we can kind of get that wrapped up before, it drags into the summer. it sounded like everybody's on the same page. And then once we're not too far away from free agency, and who knows what the hell's going to happen, because there's a couple guys that are probably going to be either shipped out or something, because you got to figure Blackwood's gone. We talked about that. Wood's probably gone. Graves is probably
Wood's
gone.
a UFA. Graves a UFA.
Yeah, okay.
Tatar,
so they're gone.
UFA. You know, yeah. We got to see.
I like Tatar too.
So do I.
I mean, listen, we talked about it, how Miles Wood, had a horrendous first round, and then he played really well after getting benched there in the playoffs. He played well against Carolina. That fourth line was probably the most effective line during that Carolina series. And I know everyone had him written off, and then all of a sudden it was just like, whoa, are we going to get penalty Miles Wood, or are we going to get this Miles Wood? Because this Miles Wood is like that a lot better. But penalty man Miles Wood, not so much.
That's
personally, I think
consistency.
I know. I think his time with the team is done. Much like Damon Severson, although I don't think there will be a sign and trade with Miles Wood. I think they'll just let him go. And he will, go out into free agency. Ryan Graves, on the other hand, though, if Fitzy can somehow work yet another miracle sign and trade, that would be fantastic, because he is someone that I'm sure teams are going to snatch up. He's not going to be out of work for very long. But does he fit with us anymore? I don't know. With Luke, with Ball, we talked about this with Nemec. Ryan Graves, Shorts guy mentioned it. Maybe he does want to take like a 1-year deal until the salary cap goes up. Maybe that's something he's interested in. I'm not sure. But
yeah,
right now, where's the spot?
Yeah, those small 1 to 2 year bridge deals could start cropping up now that the cup's been awarded. We're getting into the season of signings. So with the cap going up, we're going to see some GMs get creative. We're going to see players get creative, especially if they want to stay in certain situations. So time will tell. Time will tell what the Devils will do. And the one thing we do know is Fitzy makes magic happen.
He does.
He
and also,
magic happen. That sounds like an after-school special. Come watch Fitzy. Fitzy makes magic happen. And it's just in like
The More You Know.
Show us when we were kids.
The More You Know.
There you go. Something like that. Well, there's a name that was being kicked around too. The name.
Go ahead.
I was going to say Colton Ross was a name that was being thrown around. That there could be a potential trade. So I mean, there's going to be some moves. I mean,
Devils fan
going to do his thing. He's going to cook. Let him cook, man. Let him cook.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, the only thing I was going to say to close out with the Ryan Graves thing, I mean, would they trade a different defenseman instead? Like, I don't think so.
No.
You're not going to get rid of Marino. You're not going to get rid of Hamilton, and Siegenthaler. He's part of that Swiss connection now. I don't think you touch that. So, yeah.
Colton Ross.
Yeah.
Same thing. We knew who you were talking about.
Same thing. Whatever. You know what I meant.
Swanson.
Ross.
Colton
Ross. Rachel Ross. Victor Vector. What's your Victor Vector?
We have Clarence. Roger.
You ever see? Oh, never mind.
Joey. Hang around a lot of gymnasiums.
Ever watch Gladiator movies? Yes, Sharon Govich is being shopped around. I wouldn't mind keeping Sharon Govich as well, but the problem with him too is his inconsistency. Like the thing is, there's a couple guys that are waiting in the wings. Alexander Holtz, you're hoping that he takes the next big step. Somebody call Jack Hughes' mom and get him to skating lessons with Mrs. Hughes. I'll be proper there, but it's just there's a couple of guys that if they go Tatar, if he's gone, as much as I like him, character guy, really nice player. If somebody can fill in that void, or if they can go out and get another person to fill in that void in free agency. And keep in mind, like free agency this year is not a deep class. It's like defensively, especially.
No.
So
next year it's a different story.
Next year is a different story. So
You got
that's
a
the other
lot
thing
next
too.
year. Aho, Hellebuck, Stamkos.
And do you want
Austin Matthews?
And do you want to spend money this year just to spend money, or do you? Well, Austin Matthews is going to get locked up. There's no way Toronto's letting him walk. There's 0% chance.
No.
He's waiting to
What if
sign
Austin
that. He's going to
Matthews-
sign like a $12 million a year, some crazy contract.
What if Austin Matthews wants to go somewhere else? What if he's like, I can't
Arizona.
take Maple Leaf
Done.
anymore? Huh?
He would.
No,
that wouldn't shock me though, Shorts guy. If he went to Arizona.
Yeah,
I was
know.
actually thinking.
If
I was actually thinking
if
the
they
Kings
even
here
still
in LA, which is very close to Arizona,
Toronto's
and it's an
hiring
up-and-coming team.
Toronto's hiring in the office people that are associated with Austin Matthews. So it's almost like they're angling every which way to make sure he stays. So I highly doubt Austin Matthews is going anywhere because of the front office hirings that they've done, let alone trying to get him to stay himself. So I really wouldn't.
How much do you
It's-
think
it's
he's
not
going to
gonna-
cost?
Oh, more than we're willing to pay. I'll tell you that.
What's he at? 10 now?
Dude,
think he's something
he's
like-
waiting. He's waiting for the cap to go up, and he's going to demand, no joke, like 10 plus, so 12.
I think he's going to
12,
be 12.
even like
Yeah,
somebody just
Tavares
said
is
15, the J-
Tavares is in there already, right? He's what, 10 or something like that too. I don't know how they're
And
going to be
this
able
is-
to fit all these guys. Marner,
And this is-
Nylander,
exactly. And this is really where you really appreciate what Fitzy is doing and keeping the guys that we
Mhm.
have, probably underpaying them. In fact, yes, he's underpaying some of these guys, but he's able to convince them that this is where you want to be long term and this is where you want to potentially win a Stanley Cup. So we're building a team, whereas other players around the league are getting paid and the team is suffering. I mean, look at Edmonton. You know what McDavid and Draisaitl make. They don't have enough to spend on a good goalie that'll get them through the season, or at least get them through the playoffs. So they don't. It's damned if you do, damned if you don't, I guess. In a sense, like, yeah, you got these great players, you're selling all these jerseys, it's a big hype, but then it's like when it comes time to actually win the game, you're screwed.
And look at what happened. Not that they weren't successful at first, but after the Blackhawks awarded those contracts to Taves and Kane, correct me if I'm wrong, but I mean, they definitely didn't win a cup after that. But I remember seeing something where I don't even know how many playoff series they won post contract.
You got to be smart with your signings. You got to be smart, and the Devils are being smart, and I think as Devils fans, we should all appreciate the work that Fitzy's doing to keep this team competitive and under budget as well.
Because you're eventually gonna have to pay for Dawson Mercer.
Yes, you
Eventually,
Well,
you're
he
gonna
already
have to pay
talked
for
about
Luke
that too.
Hughes.
He already brought that up too. He already brought up the fact that he wants to lock up Mercer right away. And the best thing to do is what he did with Jack, is you lock him up before he has that super breakout season. Like locking up Jack at $8 million a year, dude, is an absolute steal. Absolute steal. And the fact that like he was able to get it done before Jack really, blossomed into what he did this year. And, a part of last year is pretty incredible. And I hope that's what he's trying to do with Dawson. Like maybe he could get Dawson locked up for like 5, which is not unreasonable, right? At this where it stands right now, like a shorter term, at 5 point whatever kind of deal, or just something that's like a little bit more. I don't know. Even like if you gave him like a 3 to 5, wherever in that range, he's not going to be
Dawson
making
will be
6. He's not going to be making.
He will be an RFA next year, by the way.
Yeah, so he has time, but Fitzgerald did mention that he, like Mercer by name, that he wants to get him figured out sooner than later.
He's forward. Fitzy's forward thinking, and that's what you want. You want forward thinking, and he's not. And for as far as we know, he potentially could not be with the team when these contracts expire, but he may leave this team in such great shape. Which I'm just saying this hypothetically, because if he's making these deals now, I highly doubt he's going to be fired for the Devils tanking. But man, he is so forward thinking right now, thinking about the long term with these younger players and how to sign them up and lock them up long term. I love that mindset. That's thinking of building a team that's going to be a perennial winner.
I like that Dave Singer also asked if you and I are the same person. Is it because we're dressed very similarly?
We are dressed very similarly
right now.
tonight.
I wish I was wearing my green hat. That would have been good.
We might have
no,
to coordinate
Dave, we're
that
our own person. Yeah, we should. We should just start dressing identical.
Oh,
Yeah,
I
Dave.
want to address a question.
I'll take my glasses off.
Shane Van Sickle asked about Sean Burke's mask.
Dude, we addressed that the last time he was on, right?
Yeah,
We
asked.
did, yes.
He asked a question wanting us to ask Sean, but we already knew the answer to that. I guess somebody took his mask out of his bag.
Yeah, I don't think it's not been found yet, and
No,
I didn't want to.
It has been found.
Oh, it has been.
There is a collector that paid a lot of money for it, and it's somewhere. Somebody in New Jersey actually owns it, and it's part of their collection as we speak. So anytime that goes up for sale, I jokingly told Sean we're going to buy it back for him. He's like, guys, you don't have to do that, but it would be kind of.
Do they
cool.
take Woo Bucks?
I think they may. I think they may.
Perfect.
Okay.
Or
we got plenty of those.
We can always long-term lease it. Long-term lease.
I mean, I got fined in Woo Bucks basically every Devil's After Dark. So I mean, there should be plenty in that piggy bank over there.
Yeah,
we could
up.
stockpiled
We can get it back. But yeah, that mask was a great mask. I hope to see Sean next season because I still have my Sports Illustrated for Kids Sean Burke card, the first edition. They actually had like all these cards, and Sean Burke was part of that. I think the first edition magazine, SI for Kids, if you remember that.
I took off my glasses, so now Dave cannot tell us apart.
And now you can't see.
And now I can't see.
Shorts guy, you need to start squinting, and then you guys will. Never mind.
Yeah, then I'll.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to squint
your eyes
whenever Beer Baron takes his glasses off.
It's the only way I can see, man. What can I tell you? These eyes aren't as good as they used to be.
Well, as long as you can
I
still
was
finger
spotting
paint.
those raccoons. It's like George Costanza when he's on the. They were mailboxes, you idiot! I didn't have the heart to tell you.
Different versions of each other. This is great. I love where this is going. You're welcome, Dave. You're a good man. Yeah, dude. Listen,
kind of like some multiverse action. It's just like you guys in different, timelines. Basically,
that's exactly
together.
what Shane Van Sickle said. We're like in that multiverse kind of universe of each other. And it's weird. We both have similar professions. Like there's a lot of similarities.
We do. Yes.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, we have the same
Sam
profession.
Wu and-
You just teach something different than I do.
Exactly. Different ages.
Sam Wu went back in time like the Flash, and he went to that Toronto Devils game where the refs blew the call, and then he changed it, and now we're stuck in this new timeline over here. That's what it is.
Okay.
Yeah. So what happened? Did we win the cup or what?
Don't you know? Come on. It's supposed to just magically
Dave,
boom, like that.
Shorts Baron. We are the Shorts Baron.
Beer guy. Beer guy and Shorts Baron.
Beer guy and Shorts Baron. There you go.
I'll get you, Beer Baron.
Baron guy.
The last thing I do.
No, you won't.
Yes, I will.
Who's the big spoon? Who's the little spoon? Depends on the night. Depends on how cold. Depends on how cold it is.
Depends on how many beers.
So as we're approaching the end of the podcast, as you can tell by this off the rails conversation,
And it's summer. Oh my gosh!
I just want to say how much of an honor it was to speak with Sean Burke tonight, and like how cool it is. Like Shorts Guy mentioned, like he just won a Stanley Cup. Like that's a huge deal that he was able to give us his time and come and talk to a bunch of morons for a couple of minutes.
He watches our stuff.
I know. I love it.
That was
I love it.
Like, oh, I didn't know that.
You know who I'd like? Who I'd love to interview, and maybe we can get Sean to make it happen. Phil Kessel. I would like to have a conversation with Phil Kessel. Maybe we'll do like Kessel Eats, like how they used to do Chico Eats, but we'll do like Kessel Eats. And it's just
Kessel
like
and
him
Chico eat. Let's get the two of them eating
reviewing
together.
hot dogs. Yeah, he'll just review hot dogs. Like, hey, this is from Johnny Hot Dogs down in near the Delaware Water Gap. Tell us what you think. That's not a plug either. They don't owe us anything. But I just I don't know. Are we at the final thoughts process here, boys, or what are we doing?
Yeah, we're on.
Yeah,
the
we
final
are.
thoughts.
All right, good.
I'll go first. Final thought for me, because it is Father's Day. I'm gonna say Happy Father's Day to all the dads out there. Say Happy Father's Day to my dad because when I was younger, even though my dad wasn't the biggest hockey fan, but he knew that I loved it. And every year he would get that 12-pack of tickets, and we would go to the old Continental Airlines Arena all the time. And, we would sit behind, well, at first Billington and Terrari, but then, some years of Marty Brodeur, which were amazing, and me, my dad, and my grandfather, and today is my grandfather's birthday as well. So, I'll say Happy Father's Day to them, and thanks for bringing me to those games and all those memories, parking in Giant Stadium and then walking across the old, the bullpen there, and just so many like awesome memories from being a kid. And, when you're a kid, that ice is so, so cold and so crystal clear and so, just like big and larger than life, when you walk into the arena. And I still like get goosebumps, thinking about back to those days. It was always a thrill. I was always pumped. I was always super excited. The day, whether it was a weekday or a weekend that we were going to the games. I'll still never forgive my dad for not going to that one game against the Flyers when it was like a blizzard out, and then the Devils ended up coming back and winning 6-5, and there were like 5 different fights in the game. I was like, we should have been there. But other than that, thanks, Dad, for taking me to all those games when I was younger.
Yeah, I'll reiterate that. Happy Father's Day to my dad. And my dad not only brought me to Devils games, but he drove me to the rink. Sometimes at 4 a.m., 1 a.m., 2 a.m., twice a day sometimes. So, there's just the life of a hockey player and a hockey parent. But my dad did the same thing, Scotty. Brought me to Devils games. We all got tickets to the Devils for Christmas. We lucked out. My dad and I had access to tickets to Game 6 of the Eastern Finals in '95 and then Game 4 of the Cup Finals. So my dad got to see me, the 7th grade version of me. This is the pre-Shorts guy era. Absolutely lose his mind. My dad could see me lose my mind watching my team win their first ever Stanley Cup. So happy Father's Day to my dad and all the dads out there, especially you, Beer Baron, the only one with kids on this podcast. So happy Father's Day to you. Yeah. And we know, I know you'll be doing the same. You already do the same thing with your daughters. So you're already keeping that tradition alive that I know your dad did.
Hell yeah, man. Yeah. Happy Father's Day to my pops, to my dad, my father-in-law, Jeff, who everybody here on the podcast knows very well. He also, by the way, boys, he said hi. He made sure to point that out. He said, say hi to the Shorts guy and the boys there. And so that's a hi from Jeff. But, I wouldn't be the father I am today if it wasn't for having an incredible father myself and now an incredible father-in-law. So, the biggest blessing in the world is being able to go to a game where it's me, my dad, and my kids. So you're right, passing that torch along. Like, I remember going to kids games when I was a kid, and some of the most fun moments of my life is watching the Devils win and getting stuck in traffic because you learn a lot of colorful words when you're when you're a young impressionable kid in the back seat, and your dad is leaning out the window. Yeah, telling somebody that he hopes they die in a fiery car crash. So I mean, you learn a lot of stuff. And he wouldn't be mad for me telling that story because it was one of the funniest things I've ever seen in my life. But and he was yelling at Grant Marshall, you Grant Marshall. I hope you Grant Marshall yourself. But anyways, yeah, happy Father's Day to all the dads out there, all of our listeners who are fathers, who their fathers, everybody else, man. It's a good day. It's good day to be a Devils fan. Good day to be a dad. So, Sam, on to you, bud.
Happy Father's Day to my dad just hearing Scotty's story, I remember going to a playoff game with my dad. It was against Ottawa Senators. I think it was Game 4, either Game 3 or Game 4, 2003 Stanley Cup Finals. No, the Eastern Conference Finals. And I remember my dad bringing ribeye steaks to the tailgate, and everyone's like, whoa. Well, thank you,
the original
Steve.
Woo Bucks.
Yeah.
And, seriously.
And I think he witnessed Hansi throwing a donut at one of the Ottawa Senator fans, and people were yelling SARS and all that kind of stuff. But he had a good sense of humor about it. But that's one of my favorite moments at a Devils game with my dad, where he was just like, "Oh, this is fun," all this stuff, and then reading in the Ottawa Sun how we, insulted these Canadians. I don't know. Anyway, so big thank you to Sean Burke for coming on this podcast on Father's Day.
Heck yeah.
To talk about his experience winning the cup, and you can hear in his voice how happy he is, and we got the behind the scenes about that picture of him holding the cup, and what really cost him.
It's an epic picture. So I really do hope he gets that framed.
It's awesome
because that's so worth it.
Yeah, and and Dave Singer. I don't know what he's talking about. Anyway, so he's talking about whoopee. I don't know what he's talking about. Anyway.
Whoopee.
Never mind.
Oh.
Whoopee.
Yeah. Ba-dum-bum-bum.
Oh, I thought it was like, Anyway. I'm
That's a segment on Wake Up with Morning Woo.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And I just figured it out. Your dad's name should be Daddy Woo Bucks. Daddy Warbucks from Annie.
Find the button. Where's that button?
I found it.
Officially the off season, boys.
Yo, it's just gonna get wilder and crazier from here.
Who knows? Maybe Timo signs tomorrow. Maybe the deal's done. They just didn't want to announce it on Father's Day. Who knows? You know how strategic
Keep your alert
they
set.
are.
Keep your alert set for the Let's Go Devils podcast.
Absolutely.
There you go.
Again, I want to thank Sean Burke for coming on, and I'll see you on the Woo Report tomorrow sometime. Till next time, let's go Devils.